I'm Dr. Vandana Shiva from India. I started life as a physicist, but I've spent the last 30 years working in agriculture because I've been scandalized by what the Green Revolution did to my country. The Green Revolution was given a Nobel Peace Prize on the argument that India would not go the China way. There would not be a rural revolt. The farmers would be pacified, they'll buy chemicals, they'll sell crops, and they will be thoroughly neutralized. And this is why it was considered a project for peace. But by the 80s, in less than 20 years, farmers were indebted, farmers were losing incomes, their soils were dead, the water was disappearing, farmers were getting cancer, there's a cancer train that leaves Punjab, and they were revolting. And starting then and continuing later, I found that actually Green Revolution farms don't produce more food. They produce single commodities. They actually lose food. They lose the pulses and the oilseeds and the greens and the fruits and the hedgerows and everything else that keeps an ecosystem in balance. It's like a green desert. Farmers who use native seeds, do ecological farming, protect the soil, get much more nutrition per acre, get much higher incomes. The production, food production and nutrition production is 2 times more, and the incomes are 10 times more than the chemical farming. So the answer to the major problems of our times lies in ecological agriculture and taking care of the soil. Non-sustainable industrial agriculture has become the single biggest reason for ill health. The ill health of those who are not eating enough, and the ill health of those who are eating but food full of toxics, GMOs, the epidemics of cancer, diabetes, intestinal disorders, neurological orders are making the world sick. Agriculture is supposed to be a culture of the land to protect the soil, and food is supposed to be nourishment to give us health. It's doing the opposite. So it is time to write a new letter when too much cholesterol builds up in your bloodstream. And what doctors do is do a heart bypass. You bypass the clogged arteries. Right now, the economic arteries have been clogged by the greed of giant corporations who are driving the industrial system. There aren't too many. There are 5. They're going to become fewer because Monsanto, the biggest seed company, is going to buy the biggest pesticide company, Syngenta. So we'll have fewer to deal with. We will expose them, we will tell the truth, we'll do the real accounting, we will expose the corruption, including their threatening governments that said we will not have GMOs. And we will build a world, farm by farm, kitchen by kitchen, in which we bypass them like the heart bypass. The change is coming from the subnational level, where states and local councils are making the shift with local food systems, organic food systems in schools and hospitals. This is happening everywhere. And from the bottom up, every level has to be affected. Our chemical fertilizer budget is bigger than our defense budget. It's when these figures start hitting the citizens. The day the real change will come is when the small farmers who are trying to be organic and the citizens who care for democracy and their food and health start to talk to each other. And out of that conversation will come the models for a true economy that sustains the earth and people. Well, we live in times where diversity has to be the power to counter monocultures and concentration of power. And when there's some level of honesty in a system, you can find the one person who's supposed to take decent decisions. But we know there are 80 lobbyists of Monsanto sitting in Brussels influencing decisions. We know the EFSA has a rotating, revolving door with the agrochemical industry. So when all the authorities that should be taking care of people are compromised, at that time you use diversity. So I really believe the letter should of course go to important people in important places. It should go to the Secretary General of the United Nations. It should go to the President of the European Community. But it should go to every head of state, everywhere across the world. And I would say it should even go to the Vatican and mimic the Pope's encyclical, where he said, this is an open invitation to all of humanity. The letter should be an open invitation to all of humanity to participate in shifting agriculture from the destructiveness and violence of industrial farming to the prosperity and non-violence of ecological agriculture.